Hello everyone, my name is Derpy Guinea and welcome back to another video. Now picture this real quick. You're a 7 to 10 year old watching TV way past your bedtime. You scroll through your favorite channels and happen to come across an episode of a cartoon you either like or haven't seen before, and that certain episode just so happens to absolutely traumatize you. I don't know about you, but that certain situation happened to me as a kid way too many times. Honorable mention of Adult Swim. Robot Chicken specifically. So without further ado, here are the cartoon episodes, or just cartoons in general, that should not have existed. I know, this episode is on everyone's list, but it's for a damn good reason. This scared so many kids. It even influenced a murder, which is insane to think about. If you don't already know what this episode is about, a pigeon lands on Zim's head and he is sent to the nurse's office for head pigeons. Realistic sounding disease, I know. Dib, the only kid that knows Zim isn't human, tells Zim that he'll be caught because he doesn't have human organs. To avoid being discovered as an alien, Zim goes around the school and steals organs from kids and the assistant nurse. When Dib confronts him about the literal crime he's committing, this scene happens.
You're a hideous blob of stolen organs!
I've been working out.
Ew!
One of the main reasons on why this particular episode is disturbing to me is because Zim might have actually found a way towards world domination. Well, maybe just school domination. He probably wouldn't have made it that far. The extra attention to detail with the organs and beating hearts made this episode all the more eerie. Zim was really giving us evil invader vibes. He was meticulous with his scheme and even managed to get Dib. If he kept stealing organs outside from the school, who knows how far he would have actually gotten. This episode was extremely dark for children, and that was only the 4th episode of the series. I know any unfortunate kid who stumbled upon that late at night would have nightmares to come. SpongeBob has many clips that shouldn't have ever existed, but that's the key word here, clips, one-offs. Sure, there's a disturbing gross-up frame here and there, but I want to focus more on the full 11-minute features. With that being said, I remember like 4 separate episodes where I literally could not stomach what I was watching. Honorable mention to Wormy. As much as I want to talk about this episode, I will hold off on it since I don't want this video to have too much SpongeBob in it. But I will talk about another episode later on. Now the Splinter. Oh my god, the Splinter is such an awful episode. Rewatching this for this video was so hard, I hated every second of it. I don't think I ever physically cringed so hard so many times in such a short time frame. Like, the fact that this exists makes me so angry, like, why? If the title didn't give it away, SpongeBob fell and got a splinter on his thumb and can't get it out no matter how hard he tries. In a desperate attempt to remove the splinter, he asked for help from his best friend Patrick, which he should have known better from the Suds treatment that he wasn't the best guy to call because, as always, he makes things much worse. When Krabs finds out about the splinter, he removes it with his claw and pus and garbage juice erupts from the sponge's finger. But hey, at least it's back to normal. They had no business at all making this episode as grotesque as it was. Like, whoever approved this episode needs some serious help. I'm surprised it didn't end up on the banned episode list, because it certainly belongs in there. Now yes, there are plenty of episodes from the series I could have chose from, but Fred was the only one that ever truly stuck with me well into my young adult years. I think I actually had nightmares with him in it, not even lying. That's how memorable he was to me. Muriel's nephew comes over to visit, which is Fred right here, and he's obviously not normal. He has an obscure obsession on shaving things, be it animals or people. And poor Courage just so happens to be his next victim. I think what got me the most from this episode was Fred's deep voice narrating. That and his theme song. Ugh, it always gave me chills hearing that. His teeth always bothered me too. Like, why are they all different sizes? His emphasis on the word naughty isn't as creepy as I remember it to be. Maybe because I'm an inappropriate adult, but I find it more goofy now than anything. Like I said in the beginning, there's probably 3 other episodes that shouldn't exist from the series, but Freaky Fred was the only one that got to me the most. So, bye-bye, Fred.
With love, Fred.
Does anyone really remember Mr. Meaty? In all honesty, I only ever came across this show at 2 o'clock in the morning. That and Martin Mystery. If anyone remembers that gem of a cartoon, let me know in the comments. I feel like anytime I mention that one, I hear nothing but crickets. Really, this whole series shouldn't have existed. I mean, look at these puppets.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god! What is that?
This should have been moved over to Adult Swim, because these puppets are giving straight up nightmare fuel.
Have a little meat. How do you like that?
Oh no, it's all greasy and full of nitrates.
Yeah, you like that meat? Big chunks of ham in it too?
Yep, definitely Adult Swim. Or at least Comedy Central. So this episode starts with Josh trying to eat his homemade sandwich. His best friend / coworker Parker asks for a bite of it. When Josh agrees to let him take a bite, Parker greedily consumes almost the entire thing. He then goes around the mall and continues to eat off people, eventually being nicknamed the Mall Moocher. Later on in their shift, Josh tries to make a burger, but Parker takes it out of the microwave and eats it, not realizing he consumed a raw patty. He contracted a huge tapeworm, and every time he tries to eat something, the worm mooches off of him. Karma's a bee, you should have known better. I'll take my leave now. The last few minutes of the episode shows Josh removing the tapeworm from Parker, an Australian guy buying the worm off them and eating the worm himself. I cannot make this up even if I tried. I have no idea what made the creators or Nickelodeon itself write this show off for children. But then again, Nick had one of the worst shows alive to air. We'll get back to that certain show later. This show is so disgusting, I have to talk about a bonus clip. So they had full episodes and 3-minute shorts. One short that stood out from the rest of them was called Crispy Hand. I'm not even going to explain the premise of this short. I want you to watch the last scene of it. Witness the horror I and several other kids had to endure for the first time watching this.
Voila! You have a delicious and nutritious snack. And you are my favorite. Oh, that's really good.
I love it. It's delicious. What about it?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, no. This shouldn't have existed at all. This was the episode I mentioned earlier where it's disturbing beginning to end. And it's not disturbing in a gross way, rather a psychological way, which I think at times can be worse. One Course Meal is basically about Plankton being tormented by crabs pretending to be his biggest fear. Plankton is deathly afraid of whales because they used to eat his ancestors. Knowing this will prevent him from trying to steal the secret formula, Mr. Krabs dresses up as his daughter, Pearl, a whale, and continuously scares the daylights out of poor Sheldon. And this isn't a one-off thing, he does this for 16 weeks. Krabs is loving every second of this. Plankton turns into a paranoid wreck, not taking care of himself. He has night terrors and even considers, let's just say removing himself by laying on a road waiting for the bus to come and do the deed. Just when we thought Plankton had the upper hand scaring his rival back in the end, a pod of whales surrounded the restaurant, causing Plankton to make his escape. Once again, it was a trick because the pod was nothing more than a projection. Wow, this episode was awful. No wonder why it's banned from airing. There's nothing funny about this, it's just straight up mental abuse. Watching this as a kid, I'm pretty sure everything flew right past my head. Rewatching this now as an adult, I noticed how truly messed up this episode is. We witness a character scared for his life and begging for help. A character so absorbed with trauma and paranoia, his only solution of relief was to end it. And it was supposed to be treated as a joke. Alas, we get to the worst show alive, as I called it earlier. I always hated Ren and Stimpy. Its gross and vile quote-unquote humor never entertained me. No, quite the opposite actually. There's so many effed up episodes in this, it wouldn't be fair for me to just pick one. I know the one that scarred me the most was Ren's toothache. That nerve pulling scene made me cry as a kid. Rewatching it now had me squirm a little, but it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I guess spending an unhealthy amount of time on Live Leak paid off, in a morbid sense. Let's see, what else? Man's Best Friend. That episode was banned for good reason too. Ren beats his owner halfway to death, and the way they chose to animate it was just way too graphic for any kid to see it as anything but traumatic. It's a Dog's Life had a very unexpected ending that took a turn for no other reason but shock value. Hermit Ren shows an animated dead person with a noose on his neck, and there's many more scenes that are just as bad. The adult party cartoon wasn't any better, but as mentioned in the title, it was for adults, so I won't be going into those episodes. But really, is there any difference aside from the nudity? It was still violent and raunchy like the original. There were a lot of banned and censored episodes on the wiki list that tells me all I need to know. This cartoon should have been on Adult Swim. I refuse to believe this was made with kids in mind. And that is the end of this video. If you stayed for this long, I thank y'all so much for watching. Is there any other episodes I missed? Is there any you want me to add in a potential second video? If so, please comment down below. And do me a favor and paw on that like button and subscribe. Until the next video, Derpy out.